Alright guys, this review's and more, and this is a review of Maison Alhambra's Eternal Touch. This is their revamping or repackaging of Tobacco Touch. I think Latafa slash Maison Alhambra had to change around their packaging because of some legal issues with Tom Ford, because this is a clone or dupe, or is intended to be a clone or dupe of Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. So also I apologize, in the future you're going to hear my voice change because this is being over recorded or a voiceover, whereas the later audio is going to be me actually talking about the dry down once I experience the dry down after a few hours of wear. So my apologies, I forgot to actually hit the microphone button on my camera, so there was no audio. But this is Eternal Touch. You can find this on Jomashop or I think Fragrance Net for under 30 bucks. I think there was like $24, $24.99. You can find the Tobacco Touch version a good bit cheaper, just because I think they're getting rid of old stock because it's still for sale out there from discounters, but you can't really get it like brand spanking new from Maison Alhambra slash Latafa directly. So first of all, it's a I think it's a 75 mil. It doesn't really matter because it's dirt cheap. It's a very inexpensive wintertime fragrance. I'll go ahead and give you the basic note breakdown if you don't already know it. And those notes are listed here: tobacco leaf, dry spices, cocoa, tobacco blossom, tonka bean, vanilla, dried fruits, and woody notes. And that's essentially accurate, especially the tobacco in the opening, obviously the vanilla later in the dry down. But as far as the spices go, it's very much like, think like holiday Christmas style spices. I think later on in the video, when I'm actually talking directly to you from the recording, I'm going to point out that it's kind of clovey, so think like a spiced Christmas ham, if you've ever had that. That's the kind of notes we're getting from this, without obviously the ham smell. It's just the spices. But it's very almost boozy in a way, because the spices are kind of sweet and kind of just, the aromatics work in such a way that makes me think of like a very spiced cinnamon tea kind of thing. I think like almost like Fireball, if you want to compare, like a big, it's like Fireball with cloves with a whole big blast of tobacco. The dry down's great, big projection. Most tobacco and vanilla forward fragrances like that are going to have a big projection. This is no exception to that. Atomizer's decent, not amazing, just does the job. Remember, the price is under 25 bucks. But overall, the opening is just wonderful, and later on I'll talk about the dry down, but it is just a very, very pleasant, nice, well-presented, nice little bottle there, not super ostentatious, looks nice, doesn't look too crazy, and it's just a very pleasant fragrance overall. I will say this, it's probably a more mature masculine fragrance. This is not a woman's fragrance, it's a cologne for men. As far as age range, this is 30 plus. You're not going to want to wear this as like a young 20-year-old going to the office or going to the Christmas party or in the winter or wearing it on a date. It wouldn't fit right. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, it is a very, very nice, good daily wear for cold weather. Fallish winter weather. I wouldn't wear this in spring or in the summer, obviously, because it'd be a little too heavy and unpleasant. But yeah, so now we're going to jump into the dry down in the future. All right, we're in the future now for two reasons. You know that. One, it's later in the day, and also I turned my mic on, so the sound should be a little better in quality. So this thing is nice. I've never smelled Thomas Ford's Tobacco Vanille, so I can't comment on how close that is to this. If you're looking for a dupe analysis, I can't really do it for you, so my apologies. But I went to my wife, I had her smell it. I said, I love the spices, it's like Christmas. She's like, oh, that's cloves. So one of the spices that's kind of prominent in that opening is cloves. So keep that in mind. If you don't like cloves, you might not like the opening. But the tobacco, the spices, that dry down gets very chocolatey with the cocoa and the vanilla and the tonka bean. It's just sweet and lovely. And then even the base notes, the woody notes at the bottom with a little bit of sweetness from the fruit. It's overall just a banger. It's awesome. It projects pretty hard, especially after the first spray it on. Like 2 sprays, you're gonna fill the room with smell if you're not careful. So just be mindful of that. Tobacco and vanilla and that kind of stuff can be a little forward. However, there's nothing really offensive about this unless you don't like cloves, because I think that's one of the spices they kind of lean on for this particular fragrance. But yeah, overall, really nice fragrance. It smells great. It lasts a long time. Like, I mean, we're talking about, it's been hours at this point, and it just still smells. You can still walk past people and someone will smell me. I walk by my wife, she says, I still smell it on you. That's awesome. That's the goal. So definitely a winter fragrance. So this is my winter lineup now. I'm going to have this in there, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, Eternal Touch from Maison Alhambra, which is just a Latafa house or a Latafa associated or owned house. We're really, really happy with how this turned out. Honestly, I would almost use this as a room spray because it smells so nice to me because I like it so much, but it's too close to summertime, wouldn't smell quite right. But yeah, for the wintertime, under 30 bucks, I think it was $24.99 is what I paid for it on Jomashop. This is a great option. I think it is identical to Tobacco Touch. They just rebranded because of some legal issues, so you might still be able to find like Tobacco Touch cheaper than this, but this is the newer edition or newer bottle of their tobacco line. In theory, it's supposed to be a clone of Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. So very, very nice. Very happy with how this turned out. Great performance, just a lovely fragrance overall.